If you're here, there's a chance you love the thrill of a good chase, whether it's like realism or over-the-top action. We know racing game players really just dig the rush. So we're here to break down 10 of the best racing games we're either playing or looking forward to the most in 2018. Starting off with number 10, let's talk about Gravel. If you're into more off-roading adventures, Gravel's a pretty safe bet. It's a good blend of arcade-style racing that has a good physics-based off-road feel to it. The best part of this game are the tracks and the variety of them. There's long cross-country drives, lap-based races, and actual regular enclosed tracks. Unfortunately, you can 100% the single-player offerings pretty quickly, but there is strong multiplayer. But the racing and crashing itself is fun enough that I think you'll be satisfied either way. Various conditions in terrain and weather, licensed real-world vehicles, and a solid variety of different rally and rallycross style races really make it worth recommending. And keeping off-road at number 9, we have MX vs ATV All Out. Now, this is different from typical MX games. The feel and physics are a bit different, and some would say it leans a bit more arcadey than usual. It has longtime fans of the series a bit divided, but I think if you just like off-road games and you're not looking for complete realism, you'll have a fun racing game with a decent single-player offering and 16-player online race modes. You can race with bikes, ATVs, and UTVs in a bunch of different perspectives, including an adjustable first-person view, which I really appreciate. I still think there aren't enough games in this genre specifically, so I'll always take one like this, because I'm still dreaming about the glory days of ATV Off-Road Fury. Next at number 8, we have Anti-Graviator. I'll admit this is one of the more out there games on the list, but it's still pure 100% racing. Even if the vehicles don't have wheels, Anti-Graviator is still a pretty consistent adrenaline rush with a really good sense of speed. Basically, if you've ever been a fan of like the Wipeout series or F-Zero, this is that. The reviews are, I'll admit, a little bit all over the place, but I for one think it's pretty fun. The gameplay and racing mechanics are solid, and it's all about boosting and using power-ups to get past your opponents. Now, the trap system is extremely flawed though, and the game can be a bit buggy, but the feature set is nice with offline modes and online multiplayer, especially the fact that it has split-screen racing, a feature that seems almost extinct in 2018. It's really good, and we like to put games like this on the list just because it shakes up games with wheels. Racing isn't always just about cars, and I think Anti-Graviator is a good example in 2018. But going back to real cars, at number 7 we have F1 2018. The Formula One racing series is pretty much a yearly mainstay at this point, and August 2018 is going to see the newest drop. The career mode has been expanded, and they've been teasing an old feature that people love that will be making a return. At this point, Codemasters knows how to make a racing game, so I don't have many doubts with the actual racing mechanics of this game. You're going to be able to drive famous F1 cars from the 70s and 80s now, including James Hunt's McLaren. Media and interviews in career will play a much bigger role and should give you an extra level of stuff to think about while you're racing through the famous French and British Grand Prix. I think this is going to be one of the more realistic racing sims to keep an eye on this year. F1, whether it's a video game or real life, has a fan base for a reason. It's insane. But now at number 6, we have Ride 3. It's the first game in the series to be on Unreal Engine 4, and it comes with a massive amount of good-looking stuff. 30 tracks total, including 12 completely upgraded brand new ones, and 230 bikes that can be customized with over 500 parts. Thanks to the new engine, levels are all reworked, but more importantly, the game is as photorealistic as ever, and physics, collision and crashes, and artificial intelligence sees large improvements. This series has really gained a large following in a short amount of time for a reason. Solid gameplay and modification systems with the perfect blend of realism. If you're someone who's more into street bikes and motorcycle racing, you should consider checking this out soon. Next at number 5, we have Onrush. This game was a pleasant surprise this year. Its gravity-defying, spectacle-based action racing is pretty addictive and fun. It's really fast-paced, arcade-style racing with zippy controls, and the focus is on destroying your competition. All the tracks are about boosting and hitting these giant, ridiculous jumps and crazy courses, which sounds simple, but really this alone makes the game really stand out from the crowd. This is from the team behind the Motorsport game, so I was immediately interested, and it more or less lives up to their pedigree, I think. It could use more depth, but the way it shakes up conventional racing while also having some good modern-feeling multiplayer features is awesome. It's just a different kind of racing game. It's not for everyone, but we definitely think it's worth considering. Because at number 4, we have The Crew 2. Now, I'll say The Crew 2's racing itself isn't perfect, but the environment you do actually race in is still totally worth experiencing. I think it's the star of the show. Racing is fast and simple with easy, crazy power slide turns and turbo boost mechanics and jumps, but what really makes the game special is the open world racing environment that is a mini recreation of the entire United States. The original Crew had this, but in The Crew 2, it feels way more realized and it seems like there's a lot more love put into the world. And plus, this means you get tons of variety. You get city street races, supercar tracks, off-road truck stuff, rally stuff, and of course in this sequel, you can actually fly stunt planes and speedboats if you're really feeling nasty. It's a good turn off your brain type of stuff. I wish there were more multiplayer options, but really, you can't be cruising at high speeds across America and just doing cool stuff, because it really makes normally boring open world maps filled with stuff to do a bit more refreshing, and I really appreciate it as just a turn off your brain and go driving type of game. So that, above all else, I think still makes it worth checking out. At number 3, we have Danger Zone 2. This is another game that was a complete surprise this year. It is 100% a spiritual successor to Burnout, and that's the first and even only thing you really need to know. But I guess since I do have to go on, it basically gives the concept of the first Danger Zone game way more depth and makes it feel like a full-fledged game and less of a concept this time around. Danger Zone 2 is different than anything else on this list, as it's not really a competitive racer, so to speak, but it's more of a race against time and to rack up the most damage. It takes place on realistic roads based on real-world locations, even though the action is really crazy and fun and arcadey. It's all about boost chains and different challenges and car types that give you different objectives and ways to crash. It sounds simple, the whole game kind of is, but now that concept is fleshed out, it's one of the best objective-based racing games you can play right now. And it gives you a little bit of variety compared to a traditional racing game, so that's why we wanted to include it. Coming down to number 2, we have Wreckfest. This game finally completely dropped this year in 2018. Bugbear Entertainment's spiritual follow-up to Flat Out is now out of early access on PC and has PS4 and Xbox One versions. Now, Wreckfest is more of a demolition derby style racer, and destruction is really the best part of it all. Cars have realistic soft damage modeling, meaning you get to see the metal twist and get crushed in all its glory. Now, if you're not completely into just outright destruction, don't worry, there's plenty of traditional track races that are just as fun thanks to solid racing controls, a surprisingly sharp sense of speed, and some fairly engaging customization and progression that I always really appreciate. Ultimately, it's just fast fun with really awesome crashes. So if you lean towards Burnout over something like Gran Turismo, Wreckfest might definitely be your jam. It's one of the most fun racing games we played this year. Now finally, at number 1, we have Forza Horizon 4. This drops this fall, and we've gotten our hands on it at E3, and we can confirm it's shaping up to be another really solid entry. Here at GameRanks, we're fans of Forza Horizon over the regular mainline Forza games, and Horizon 4 seems to really double down on fun factor with a wide open European countryside and a new dynamic season system where tracks and environments can be changed by hot summers, rainy springs, just cool looking falls, and snow-covered roads in the winter. It makes for a nice change up in the experience and give it more room for off-road vehicles to shine in an environment that wouldn't always make as much sense. The Horizon games are awesome racing games because I think they found the perfect blend between fun racer and realistic racing sim while having a ton of polish, production quality, and also giving you tons of options to really customize how the game plays. So absolutely keep your eye on this one. Those are our picks, but we do have some runners-up, most notably first, Burnout Paradise Remastered. Of course, if we weren't excluding like remakes or remasters and stuff, Burnout Paradise would totally be number 1 on this list, I'm just saying. Not only that, we also have V-Rally 4, which is a return to the classic series. We haven't seen a V-Rally game since 2002. And if you're into more hardcore realistic bike races, we have MotoGP 2018. But those are the racing games that we're really loving or looking forward to in 2018. That is, of course, our top 10 and our opinion. We definitely want to hear yours down in the comments. What is the most fun you've had with a racing game this year, or what are you looking forward to the most? Do you prefer more hardcore realistic racing sims, or do you like more fun arcadey action stuff? We want to gauge your interest, so definitely let us know in the comments. And if you learned about a new game or two, clicking the like button does really help us out, and we really appreciate it. But if you are new, you should consider subscribing as well. Because as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.